brings us on to Sandy. Welcome to the program, Sandy. And we're kicking off. You were talking last week about the devolution situation in the UK with regional mayors and so on. And well, Plymouth is the latest city to declare that they would like a directly elected mayor, and they're going to be holding a referendum apparently, but there's not universal support for it.
No, this is quite an interesting story. We have these two characters, two Labour MPs, Luke Pollard from Sutton and Devonport, and Fred Thomas from Moorview, and they've slammed proposals for this directly elected mayor to be brought into their council. Because they're saying, oh, we don't like this level, this second layer of that they don't need, which is going to be very costly. I mean, the referendum itself is going to cost, I think it's 410,000 for the referendum, and the mayor's wages will be 80,000 per year. And they reckon the staffing cost with the wages and the office will come to 1.5 million a year. So, and of course, all the taxpayers will be footing this bill. And we can't let them off the hook, because I don't think they're being entirely honest. They're saying that this is a political move, but actually, they're never going to really tell the electorate what's really going on. But they're opposing it from a political standpoint, not really from a understanding or letting people know about the global consequences of this, which we do know, which we spoke about last week. There are areas that have scrapped these local mayors. There's Bristol, Torbay, Stoke, Hartlepool, Liverpool, and they've abandoned these plans to take on these directly elected mayors. So there's reasons to be to be cheerful about this, in our own way, because we know where this is leading to, but. More people, hopefully, will be understanding that this is a very costly thing, and we don't really want it. Yeah. So that's quite a cheerful story, a local story, that they're actually questioning it and saying, look, we don't want this. Yeah, which is good. And also, I mean, I'm looking really at the reasons why we can have a little bit of hope, because I do see there is opposition to these plans, and looking at it globally, we've got the midway through to 2023, the Digital Compact meeting. I mean, the UN admitted that only 15% of the SDGs were on track, while 30% had actually stalled, and we've got a lot of these leaders like Klaus Schwab, really almost, sort of showing concern that they're not meeting their targets. Commitments to net zero are worth zero without the plans, policies, and actions to back it up. And we cannot afford to take movers or late movers. They're clearly worried, and there's more slide on that as well. You've got Antonio Guterres saying, if you cannot set a credible course for net zero, you should not be in business. They're worried, I think, about the businesses actually getting on board with this, because the businesses are late. The whole stakeholder capitalism thing needs businesses to get involved, and a lot of them are falling short on their net zero commitments. And then we've got we've got the online harms, stuff that they're really worried about. They're really worried about people's freedom of speech, people speaking up against any of this. The spread of hatred and lies online is causing grave harm to our world. Misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech are fueling prejudice, violence, exacerbating divisions and conflicts, demonizing minorities, and compromising the integrity of elections. Well, they've got to fight the media who are calling all of this out. So, we've got some. We realise that we're rattling their cages a bit. Now, the other thing that's happened this week is, a wonderful woman from Council Watch Eastbourne, Serena Stannard, appeared having watched UK Column last week. Have you got anything to say about that, Mike?
Yes, I mean this. She decided to intervene in her local council, and well, we've got a little bit of video. I was just going to show the first minute or so of the video that she recorded following the council meeting, and we're going to show a little bit of the response from the council itself in extra. But let's just have a listen to what she had to say about her intervention at her local council.
Hello and welcome to Eastbourne Council Watch. Well, we're one of those councils who will be in the first tranche to experiment with Labour's devolution bill, which also means that we don't get to vote in council elections this May. So I thought I'd go along to a council meeting and make my and others' feelings known and to put it on the record, so to speak. Unfortunately, it was only a cabinet meeting, which meant that it was Lib Dems and not the Tories who were the ones to vote against the May elections. But I didn't know if I'd get another chance to speak in full council, so I went for it anyway. There was one Tory councillor in the public gallery, so maybe word will get back. And there's a possibility that I can speak in a full council meeting where they will be discussing devolution again, which will give me time to write a more considered speech. Having written yesterday's speech, I then put on UK Column to listen before I went off to the meeting, and up popped Sandy Adams with loads of information about devolution. So that was the cue for me to rush off and rewrite my speech in about half an hour. However, it got a good reception, and do listen to what the council member for Net Zero had to say.
So we'll show you what the devolution, or the Minister for the Council member for Net Zero, had to say in extra. But Sandy, this, I have to say, is great, because this is exactly what we hope for. We hope the information that we put out on the UK Column News will be used by people who are active in some way. That's exactly the point. And so well done to Serena.
Yeah, I mean, what fantastic response from Serena. And as you say, this is what we're here for, to give information and for people to take action on that information, and wonderful news, really. And she went straight into the meeting, really, to address the assault on democracy because of the voting. But actually, because of what she saw, she then brought it really into the global arena about how this was brought on down from ICLEI in 1992 to bring everything from Agenda 21 from global to local, which was, ICLEI was in every town council. So we've had all that happening, and and she did talk about how she was absolutely furious, really, about the fact that the Tory council and the Labour council colluded in order for this to happen. And she said, if this is the way politics is going, then God help us. And I tend to agree.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic, Sandy. Thank you very much for